Flyers goaltender Ron Hextall. Now, prior to the game and ceremonies here, Hextall presented the team MVP award. He has not recorded a shutout in this season, and Hextall, of course, last year in his rookie year, leading the Philadelphia Flyers all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, and of course his MVP playoff year. But Hextall has yet to record a shutout, and he right now is leading along with the Flyers by a 2-0 score. For third period action, back upstairs to Mike and Al.
All right, Jeff, we're ready to go. Gustafson leans in to work the draw here against Ron Sutter. From the faceoff, it's tapped back to Mark Howe on defense. Scott Stevens intercepts a pass at center ice and puts it across the blue line into the Flyers zone. Mike Gartner hooked off his skates by Derek Smith, and the Flyers come out. Dave Brown taps it ahead for Ron Sutter, and Sutter crest sideboards now by the Capitals' Scott Stevens. Call was made offside, and now Stevens has dropped the glove and is reaching in after Dave Brown. Now Stevens grabbed from behind by Sutter, and he's held by Ron Sutter. No real punches thrown between Sutter and Stevens, or Stevens and Brown. Now Corvo and Samuelsson might be next. Brown has Gustafson holding him from behind. The linesmen get in there and try to pull everybody apart. They've got a couple of groups that are congregating here, and Stevens and Sutter are the players who they're going to lead to the penalty boxes.
Well, we've admired Scott Stevens' cool the entire year, but enough is enough. He's got to go in a situation like this. Sutter has been hounding him all night long, and it does no good at any point really to turn the cheek completely, because then you just get taken out of the things that you normally do. Scott Stevens has been magnificent in terms of keeping his composure when challenged for the most part this year, but why not in a situation like this? If they finish second, if they finish third, the Capitals still will play the Philadelphia Flyers. You send a message, you're not going to push me around, you're not going to think you'll be able to get away with all the cheap shots you've gotten. Again, it's a clean hit once more by Scott Stevens. Now, watch it again. The shoulder is down, the elbow tucked in, he hits him clean, back comes Sutter up. At that point, just drop the gloves and get rid of Ron Sutter.
But the reason Sutter's upset is the play had already been called offside, and it was after the whistle. They don't like Stevens coming in there trying to relay any type of message after the whistle's already blown. That's why the Flyers were upset.
But there they were so close, and the momentum was already going when the whistle blew. It wasn't like with Derek Smith when the whistle had blown with Bob Gould. He comes in a few more strides and goes after him when Bob Gould was even completely stopped.
Minors for roughing to both players, Stevens and Sutter, at the 16-second mark of the third period. Doesn't affect the manpower. Full strength on the ice. Samuelsson drives it back into the Washington zone. Kevin Hatcher up the boards for Gartner out to center ice, and now Howe puts it back inside the Washington zone. Greg Smith of the Capitals clears it all the way down. Zezel gets tied up with Hatcher. Here's Hatcher back in his own end. The puck cleared back to the Philadelphia line, and Samuelsson dumps it into Washington territory. Now here's Hatcher to throw it all the way back. Sinisalo puts it in the corner. Greg Adams to the point, but not out. Ledyard knocks down a shot. He starts out to Dale Hunter. Offside here against Philadelphia as Craven was caught in the zone when the puck came back in.
Mike, we'd like to mention that the Capitals playoff guide is going to be available for the first round of the playoffs. Dave Ferry editing the guide this year, did a magnificent job with the help of Julie Hensley and, of course, one of the guys of Lou Corletto. 110 pages of stats, including all player statistics, 1988 playoff information, and statistics for the Capitals in head-to-head competition. Something new this year, and it's all available for $3 at any souvenir stand at the Capitol Center.
Here's Grant Ledyard. Gets stuck at the point. It's cleared away from Mellanby by Larry Murphy. Back of the goal, Murphy starts out from behind Peters. Leads the pass ahead to Hunter. Hunter left wing side, too far for Adams. Hextall back of the goal. Adams going right after it. Adams has the puck for Washington. At the point, Murphy keeps it in. Hunter over to Christian on his backhand, tries to throw it to Adams, and Mellanby winds up with possession. He clears it all the way down the ice. This will be icing as Murphy goes back to get it, and the faceoff goes back to the Flyers zone. Sylvain Turgeon's 23rd goal of the season puts Hartford on the board. Paul Coffey has his 15th for Pittsburgh, giving the Penguins that lead over Hartford 2-1. That's in the second period at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. Stéphane Richet's 49th of the year for Montreal. Mike Hartman has his 3rd of the season for Buffalo. The Sabres with a 3-2 lead over the Canadiens. Luc Robitaille has his 51st goal of the year for the Kings as they lead Edmonton 2-1. We'll have all the scores for you on our post-game show. Here's Poulin to chase the puck, and now Howe starts out with it at the blue line, taken away by Gary Galley. He gives to Michael Pivonka, drops it back in the corner, and Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher flips it from center ice all the way back inside the Flyer end, and Hextall loops it into the corner for Mellanby. He chops it up the boards, but Ridley zings a shot just wide of the net. Now Prop starts out for Philadelphia. Flips a bouncing puck back to the Capitals line, and although Mellanby hits Hatcher, Ridley is there to help out and starts the play to Pivonka. Right side for Hatcher. He comes up to center ice. Slap shot blocked by Hextall and put behind the net for Huber. Pass out to center ice, and Gary Galley leads it to Gustafsson, to Gould across the line, throws it on goal. Hextall makes the stop, clearing it to the corner. Here's Eklund out to center ice. Larry Murphy flags it down. Leads a pass too far for Steve Leach. Leach hooked by Huber in the corner. And the Flyers' Derek Smith sends it all the way down. Ledyard goes back for it. Icing is the call. There's a break in the action with a score. Philadelphia 2, Washington 0.
We've just learned here that Tim Kerr is being ushered out of the Spectrum and on his way to the hospital now. Evidently hit on the side of the face. It's not a shoulder injury, but he is through for the night. Back upstairs now to Mike and Al.
Thanks, Jeff. Here's pressure on the Philadelphia goal. Murphy keeps it inside the line, but it's played to the point. Slap shot by Leach. That's way up high off the mark. Gould goes to the corner after it. At the point. Over to Grant Ledyard. Now to Larry Murphy. His shot. Kick save by Hextall. Back to the corner. Play to the blue line, and Murphy keeps it in. Eklund turns it around. Right to Gould. His drive just misses the mark. Sundstrom over to chase it. Crashes into Dave Brown, and the puck cleared out of the zone to center ice. Flyers lead 2-0 with 16 minutes to play here in the third period. Mike Gartner has it taken away. Gustafsson moves it ahead. Gartner knocked down by Craven at center ice. There's going to be a penalty call here for tripping against Murray Craven of the Flyers. There's a break in the action with a score. The Flyers 2, the Capitals 0.
Dive, or is it a trip? Murray Craven says dive.
Got the foot in there a little.
Don Koharski says trip, and the Capitals will have the power play. 4:13, the time of the tripping call on Craven.
At the left point, here's Gary Galley. A shot hit the post. Gustafsson looking for the rebound, but it's underneath Hextall. That's the second goal post the Capitals have had in this game. Stevens had one from the same spot at the left point earlier in the game.
They've hit both goal posts now. The Stevens shot was well inside that goal post. Galley's just a little bit to the outside there. You see it goes through Hextall first and then pinballs to the middle of that post, and Hextall, living right again, covers up to force the face-off. Imagine the difference now. Galley hits one here. If Stevens had gotten his in, and literally that was just a fraction of an inch away from going into Scott Stevens' drive. Here you've got a 2-all hockey game.
Hextall wants a new goal stick now and is getting a replacement from the Philadelphia bench.
I was very surprised that Ron Hextall was named the MVP this year for the Flyers. He missed first 8 games because of suspension, did not have the type of year he had last year, I thought it should have gone to a guy like Murray Craven, who, to me, kept that team in it early with all the injuries to the goal scorers. I thought maybe Craven really had the best year of all. A guy like Peter Zezel, case could have been made for him, but they give it to Ron Hextall, and he's responding.
Here's a drive right on, the rebound loose, and Hextall does the butterfly and then closes up the legs. Well, you know, Al, with Tim Kerr out of the lineup, just watch him in action here. What player, if you took him out of this season's lineup, would have hurt the Flyers most? I think it would be Ron Hextall.
Well, when you see him play like this, you're certainly right. And you see with that big body how much room he covers up. Very little chance for Gustafsson to lift that puck up because there's not much space between where the puck is lying and Hextall, and he's such a big goaltender. But at least the Caps are showing a little pressure in this third period, something that was not there. Notice how Hextall, even though he's down, is not out of position because of the good balance. He's still leaning forward and is able to control his body to get it into the position to stop Bengt Gustafsson.
Here's Pavanka cutting in, throws to the side of the net. Gustafsson tries to wrap it around, but it's stolen by Sutter. Up the boards and cleared the length of the ice by Pula. Now, you talked earlier about the Flyers keeping certain Capitals out of the game, and they've kept Mike Gartner under pretty good control. He's had only 3 shots on goal in this game tonight. Grant Ledyard is the only other player with more than 1. He has 4 shots in this game. Here's Hatcher at the point. Flips it over to Pavanka. At the point, Hatcher keeps it in. To Gartner at the side of the net. Tries to center for Gustafsson. Slams it on net. And Hextall reaches down to his toes and makes the save.
He's down there with both the stick and the glove right down there on the ice and gives Gartner absolutely nothing to shoot at. It's a high pass over Huber, and that takes some doing because Willie Huber is huge. But watch Hextall. He's got the stick down there. He's got the skate out at an angle, and the glove is there to help cover up.
Hextall played last night in Quebec and beat the Nordiques. The draw now to his right with Hunter leaning into work against Ron Sutter.
Patrick Waugh talks to his goalpost. Ron Hextall beats his, but they've certainly been working for him tonight.
At the left point, here's Galley. Over now to Murphy. Rink wide, and it hops over the stick of Christian and comes out to center. Here's Galley up to Larry Murphy. Murphy back in his own zone, skates it out, brings it up to center ice. Flips it ahead on the right wing. Christian, a wrist shot. Pad save by Hextall. Cleared to the point. Murphy over to Gary Galley. To Murphy. Back to Ridley. Ridley, rink wide. Galley, a slap shot. Saved by Hextall. He gloved it on the rebound after making a pad stop. Hunter and Sutter have something to say in the aftermath.
This is just the latest example of Ron Hextall backing up his MVP award tonight. Pads, then the glove, snaring it out of the air. Before that, he had come out and challenged David Christian with good quickness. Now, when he is on like this, when he's within himself, as long as he doesn't try and scramble to do too much. So that play he made on David Christian, that's when Hextall is within his game. He doesn't try and overcompensate, over-challenge the shooter, just waits till the shooter comes in and is about to shoot, and then makes that quick move. A guy standing that tall at 6'3" will cover up so much ground if he can just make that one little quick move. But if he goes too far out, then he's out of position and starts scrambling around.
Stevens keeps it inside the zone at the point. Over to Gustafsson. 17 seconds left in the power play. Stevens sends a shot just wide through the goal mouth. Now Hatcher has it poked loose along the sideboards, but sends it back to the net. Gustafsson to Stevens, a one-timer, just missing wide. Caps keep the pressure on. Here's Gartner, deking his way to the side of the net. Throws it back up the board. Stevens to the point. It's cleared free, and Craven slips and falls as he comes out of the penalty box, and the Capitals have time to go back and recover. Both clubs at full strength. Right wing pass too far for Hunter. He goes to the corner now on Marsh and slams him to the corner boards. Pavanka back of the net, trying to go to Hunter. Here's Murray Craven. Long lead pass. Out to Sinisalo at center ice. Tries to get by Stevens. Stevens using the stick on him and can't slow him down. It comes to the point and gets out of the zone past Crossman. Capitals need to sneak one past Hextall here, and they'd be right back in this game. They trail 2-0. Here's Greg Adams. Off the glass to center ice. Marsh in the corner. Forecheck by Adams. It's cleared up the boards and comes out to center. And here's Marsh to the red line. Inside the Washington zone. Marsh being hooked by Greg Smith. Run to the corner boards. Knocked down by Bobby Gould. Here's Craven over after. Takes it behind the net. Centering pass. He's alone, and the shot taken by Knockbauer right into the pads of Pete Peters. The puck cleared out to center ice as the Capitals ease the pressure a bit. 2-0 the score. Philadelphia has the lead. Here's Smith. Out to Bobby Gould. He dumps it into the Flyers zone. Samuelson sends it back to the Capitals blue line. Ledyard up ahead for Sundstrom. Sundstrom checked by Dave Brown. Gould works it free, but is taken over now by Derek Smith. Smith dumps it in, and Peters gloves it. The Flyers are called offside. There's a break in the action with a score. Philadelphia 2, Washington 0.
Activity in this third period, but here is a chance for the Flyers. Their only shot on goal. A good one by Knockbauer, but Peters makes the save with a lot of help from Grant Ledyard.
Kelly Miller jousts from the faceoff with Prop, and it's cleared back inside the Washington zone. Here's Murphy to get it. Over to Michael Pavanka. Lead pass out to Ridley, taken away. And Samuelson has it in neutral ice and tosses it back into the Washington zone. 11.5 minutes to go here in the third period of the game. Ridley up ahead to Pavanka, charges across the blue line. Pavanka drops it off to the point man, but Prop steals and sends it past Murphy out to center. Hatcher tries to clear it back in. It's taken over by Prop. He loses the puck at his own line, and Murphy pushes it back out to neutral territory. Mellenby takes a spill. The puck goes back into the Washington zone. Peters leaves it there, and Larry Murphy starts out. Pavanka headmans it now to Miller. Shoots the puck back inside the Philadelphia zone. Here's Derek Smith back to get it. Flyer fans start the staccato clapping as the puck comes out to center. Pass goes behind Sutter. Philly's offside as Stevens gets it. It'll be delayed if it's called, and now as it comes out to center, it's waved off. Derek Smith, bumped by Corriveau on the play. Helter-skelter play here between the blue lines, and finally it stopped with a hand pass call. There's a break in the action with a score. The Flyers 2 and the Capitals 0.
Go in period 3. The Flyers still on top 2-0. Al Koken, Mike Borns, and Jeff Brimmer with you from the Spectrum here on WDCA TV.
Here's a lead pass for Ivan Corriveau down the left wing side, and Samuelson poke checks it free, knocking Corriveau down. Puck sent up the boards, and Dave Brown given a good shot by Scott Stevens. Gary Galley out to center. Brown flags it down at the red line and dumps it into the corner. Peters makes the play up the boards for Steve Leach. Derek Smith along the sideboards. Brown and Gustafson hang on there, and the puck finally frozen. And now play is stopped.
Well, tickets for playoff games A and B are on sale right now. The dates, of course, up in the air. A winner or tie tonight for the Caps means the first 2 games will be Wednesday and Thursday at the Capitol Center. If the Caps lose, games A and B will be Saturday and Sunday night, also 7:30 face-offs. If you'd like tickets, they're available at all Hex Ticket Centers, or call phone charge 202-432-0200, the number, or 1-800-448-9009. And tonight, operators will be on duty until 11 p.m. You're certainly getting a taste of what we're going to see in the playoffs here tonight, Mike. Very tight checking game, but an extremely physical game as well. A lot of activity in that regard. And for the fans who wanted to see the Capitals play somebody else in the first round other than the New York Islanders, well, the wish has been granted. It's going to be action with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Here's Zezel against Hunter. Ron Finn wants them to stand square to the faceoff, and Caps get the draw. Hunter to the point, but Marsh keeps it in. Now he logs it into the crowd. Randy Wood's 22nd goal of the season has the Islanders on the board again, but they trail the Bruins 3-2. Stéphane Richer with his 49th and 50th goals of the year tonight, and that pulls Montreal into a 3-3 tie with Buffalo.
And the man just got himself a Jaguar. Remember, I think it was 40 goals. There was a local car dealer in Montreal
right.
who said he was going to
Corvette.
give him a car. Yeah, Corvette. He said, if you got 50, I'll give you a Jaguar. So driving the Jag for Stéphane Richer.
Here's Christian, right wing side to Hunter, back again to Christian. Into the corner now for Gartner. It's played up the sideboards, and Hatcher keeps it inside the zone. He and Zezel tie up, and the Flyers' Sinisalo clears it all the way down. Back goes Greg Smith for it. Icing called against the Flyers. Edmonton has come back with 2 goals. Jeff Courtnall and Kevin Lowe have scored to give the Oilers a lead of 3-2 over Los Angeles. Phil Sykes and Luc Robitaille had already scored for the Kings, and Craig Simpson with his 56th goal of the year for Edmonton. Earlier today, Calgary beat Minnesota, wiping the North Stars out of the playoffs, and Winnipeg winning in overtime over St. Louis 5-4. Pittsburgh is in the lead over Hartford. 2-1 the score in the 3rd period at the Civic Arena. And still nothing on that Quebec Ranger game. Nothing now in the 3rd period at Madison Square Garden. Here's a drive from the point. That's blocked. Larry Murphy had the shot. The Flyers come back on the attack. Don Knockbauer tosses it inside the Washington zone, and Murphy goes to the corner after it. He's checked by Knockbauer. Grant Ledyard starts to center ice. Right wing side for Murphy. Murphy across the line to Sundstrom. Flips it in front of the net. And Bob Gould couldn't get a stick on it. Here's Mellanby behind the goal. Goes to the corner, plays it up the boards, and Knockbauer sends it all the way back to neutral ice. 8:40 to play, 3rd period. Flyers on top, 2-0. Here's Ledyard. Into the skates of Ridley. He doesn't see it. Philadelphia's Willie Huber takes over to Sinisalo. Back to Prop. Prop on his backhand. Turns it around and fires a slap shot wide. Now back to Kjell Samuelsson. His drive, a pad save to Peters. And Ledyard hammers it off the boards all the way back into the Flyers zone, where the Flyers' Greg Smith picks it up for an icing call.
Well, another way to get your playoff tickets would be to put down a deposit on a season ticket or partial plan for next year. Give the Cap sales reps a call right now at 386-7000. 386-7000. You'll get all the playoff tickets for all the home playoff games this year and have a chance to watch Capitals hockey next season. Awful tough to come back against this Philadelphia Flyer team when you're down going into the 3rd period, Mike. The Flyers 29-4-1 when leading after 2 periods of play. On the Capitals end, they have only won 6 times, losing 25 times and tying 3 times when they are behind going into the 3rd period.
From the draw, Gary Galley chases the puck to the backboards, now sends it up the left wing side all the way down. This will be icing as Mark Howe goes back to get it, and the faceoff comes back to the Capital zone.
Well, the action continues in front of both nets. You see Scott Stevens using his stick to spin Derek Smith off his skates. I think Smith may have helped that along a little bit, as Mike Gartner did earlier when Murray Craven got the tripping call. Scott Stevens, every move under constant scrutiny from the Philadelphia fans, if not Don Koharski, and they let Koharski know anytime they think Stevens has gotten away with something.
7:57 to go here in the third. The draw goes back to the corner. Here's Hatcher to play it up the left wing side. Now to Kelly Miller. Miller rushes to center ice. Brown takes it over and shoots the puck back into the Washington end. Hatcher out to Gartner off his stick. Put behind Pete Peters. And back of the goal, here's Greg Smith to start out. He's got Dave Brown right on him. Smith tries to slow Brown down. Derek Smith back of the goal. And it comes outside the line. Gartner hustles after it, keeping Mark Howe busy, and Howe back skates to his own end. Passes over to Shell Samuelson. And flips it all the way down the ice. Kevin Hatcher back to get it. Here's an icing call against the Flyers. There's a break in the action with a score. Philadelphia 2.
Some food for thought. Islanders finish strong. They capture first place in the Patrick Division. Final weekend, lose back-to-back games, including a 3-2 loss tonight to the Boston Bruins. Back upstairs to Mike and Al.
We're underway inside the Flyers zone. The Caps rush the net, but a pass right across the goal mouth is cleared into the crowd by Peter Zezel.
Doug Crossman with a great job on David Christian. Scott Stevens tried to get it to Christian for the tap-in. Watch Crossman tie up David Christian. And there's Peter Zezel to get the puck out of trouble. It's been the pattern for the Flyers all night long. Their men have done a great job in front of Ron Hextall, and what they haven't gobbled up, Hextall has.
Face off to the left of Hextall, and Gustafson leans in to work the draw against Murray Craven. Gus beats him. Galley comes in from the point. Puts it in the corner. Now throws to the side of the net. A shot and a goal. But go in right off the back of the goaltender Hextall. And boy, is he going to be sour about that. Galley from a bad angle in the corner threw it to the side of the net. And it goes off Hextall and into the goal, spoiling his shutout.
This has got to be some justice felt from Gary Galley and the rest of the Capitals. You see how it happens. Hextall, normally so great with that stick, can't control the pass out from the corner and has it bounce through his legs. Galley was one of the guys who had beaten Hextall only to have it go off a goalpost. Scott Stevens the other, and now the Capitals get the break they've been looking for. There still is 6 minutes, 56 seconds left to play in this game. Caps down only by 1. Thanks to the break provided on the shot from Gary Galley.
There's the break they needed. Galley's 6th of the year.
Gary Galley scores his 6th of the year for Washington. The assist, Ben Gustafson.
Back to the Flyer line goes Mark Howe. And Christian takes over at center ice. Walking in, a wrist shot, and just wide. Hextall got a piece of it, and that puck seemed to have eyes walking along the goal line wide of the net. Here's icing against the Flyers. The faceoff comes back to the Philadelphia zone, and the Caps very nearly had this game tied.
You got to figure out Hextall's still thinking about losing the shutout because he doesn't look ready for this shot from David Christian. He kind of shifts his weight and is not in good position, and once again, inches separate the Capitals from a goal scored. Now watch how Hextall kind of shifts around here. Maybe he doesn't see it real cleanly as Samuelson gets down to him, but there's no question that big goaltender was not ready for the shot and didn't play it very well.
He wasn't going to get to it either. No matter where it was rolling, he wasn't going to be able to reach it. Give Bengt Gustafson an assist on the Gary Galley goal.
And Mike, this also now at this stage of the game, the wheels have to be turning for Brian Murray. Remember, a tie or a victory clinches second place. So, at this point, when you're down 2-1, do you wait till the very end to pull your goaltender? Do you take a little gamble maybe earlier than you normally would? If you have this situation, let's say, with 2 minutes left, do you pull your goaltender and try and get something going here? We'll see how Brian Murray plays it, and we'll keep you advised.
Here's a drive. Hextall blocks that off Ledyard's stick. It goes to the corner, and Zezel starts out. He plays it ahead to Sinisalo. 6 minutes to go, third period. The Capitals have gotten in the game on a goal by Gary Galley from Bengt Gustafson, at 13:04 to bring it to 2-1. Here's Hunter starting out. Up to center ice. Puts it back inside the Flyer zone. Hextall lofts it into the corner. The puck played to the side of the net. Caps keeping the pressure on in front. Corvo fans on a shot. Had a great opportunity, but the puck was rolling on him. Now it's knocked all the way out of the zone by Craven. Cleared back to the Washington end of the rink. Ledyard's there for it. Icing is the call against the Flyers. Al, another good scoring chance for the Capitals as Hextall was looking around behind him right and left, and Corvo couldn't settle it down to get the shot off.
But Mike, if you're going to beat the Flyers here and in the playoffs, you've got to finish these plays off. Now it looks like Hextall may beat Corvo to it just a bit. He gets that stick out and sweeps it away right before Corvo gets it, but that's where Ivan has got to jump in maybe even a little quicker in that regard. The Capitals have had great pressure in this third period. I go back to about the 4-minute mark of the period, Mike, and look at where a shift from Bob Gould, Peter Sundstrom, and Stephen Leach gave the Capitals their first concerted forward-checking effort of the night, and they had about 3 or 4 good chances around the Flyer net. Then the Flyers took a penalty, and the Capitals were able to come back. It was a penalty to Murray Craven. Capitals were able to get some more good scoring chances, and they've kept up that offensive momentum most way through this third period.
Howe flips it out to center ice. Derek Smith dumps it back into the Washington zone. Peters leads it into the corner for Scott Stevens. Stevens starts out. A pass to the blue line, cut off by Poulin. He puts it right back inside the Capitals' end. Peters to the corner for Hatcher. Sinisalo's pressing him. Gartner loses control, but Stevens is there to get it. Over to Kevin Hatcher. Up the boards to center ice, and it's right under the stick of Derek Smith. He backs it up. The Flyers want to eat up some time off the clock, and here comes Poulin starting in. Dumps it into the corner. Takes a bounce off the glass and ends up on the back of the Washington net. Stevens is able to pick it free. He goes out to Mike Ridley. Right wing side. Kelly Miller kicks it across the line. Marsh works it free out to Sutter. Stolen puck. Here comes Ridley coming back. Mike Ridley up to the Flyer blue line. Gartner and Murphy bump into one another. Here's Miller back to Gartner. In across the line. Gartner on his backhand. Throws to the corner for Stevens. Stevens throws to the side of the net. And Hextall plays it off the backboards. It comes out to Prop. Up to Dave Brown at center. Murphy backs up into his own zone. Has to try and slow Sutter down, and it's thrown in behind the Washington net. 4 minutes to go, third period. Here's Gartner. Sutter and Stevens swing sticks behind the play. The centering pass. Knocked down from Gould. Galley, a shot, and a goal! Gary Galley, his second of the game. And he ties this one up at 2-2. The Caps bench comes alive as Galley slams home a boomer into the top corner.
Well, this is the one time tonight the Flyers really seem disorganized in their own end, and look at all the room up the middle that Gary Galley has got. You've got all the people pushed in the corner, one defenseman to the side. Before the fifth man can get in the play, Galley has let it go. Now here's what you got to do. You see Hextall he controls it, but really doesn't get it to any man in particular like he's so good at, and all the Flyers converge down in the corner. Nobody up the middle where they normally cover up so well, and Gary Galley bangs it off the body of Ron Hextall. 2 goals for Galley in the period. This game is tied, and second place right now is in the hands of the Washington Capitals.
Time of the goal, 16-13. It's Galley's 7th of the season. Sundstrom and Gartner assisting. Here's Eklund across the line. Dumps it into the corner. Nackbauer throws to the side of the Washington net. Peters leaves it behind the goal. It's picked up by Mellanby. Slap back into the corner. Bobby Gould tries to clear it out. Plays it to Leach. And he sends it all the way back into the Flyer zone. Capitals have outshot Philadelphia 16-2 here in the third period. Hatcher out to Pavanka, back to the line, knocked down by Mark Howe. The puck cleared off the glass. It gets off over the stick of Gustafson. Back come the Flyers. Murray Craven couldn't get the wrist shot off. Throws it into the corner. Pivonka chases it to the other side and tries to move it ahead to Gustafson. He flips it out to center ice. Marsh dumps it in. The Capitals' Greg Smith out of the zone to center, and Brad Marsh leads it ahead now for Murray Craven. To Zezel, charging down the middle. And Smith and Hatcher take care of Craven. Zezel spilled on the play. Smith behind the goal. Lets it go over to Hatcher. Hatcher backhands it. The puck comes out to center ice, and Corriveau clears it up over the penalty box and into the crowd. There's a break in the action with a score. Flyers 2, Capitals 2.
Track got it.
I'm tired, but you must be exhausted.
Track Auto.
On our NBA scoreboard, the Bullets win by 2 points over the New Jersey Nets, so they have now tied the Philadelphia 76ers for 8th place in the Eastern Division of the NBA. They'll play the Chicago Bulls at Chicago on Tuesday night. You'll see it right here on DC 20.
Here's Marsh to chase the puck back into his own end. The Capitals have tied the Flyers 2-2 on Gary Galley's second goal of this third period.
Mike, that bit of strategy I talked about with Brian Murray having to take that decision when to pull his goaltender to try and forge a tie. Now what about Mike Keenan? A tie does the Flyers no good. They have got to win to clinch second place. 1:59 left. Obviously, with the face-off in the Flyers zone, you don't see it, but will he pull Hextall maybe a little earlier than normal if the Flyers gain control now? Does Hextall come out of the net right now?
Well, Hextall's a big offensive weapon, don't forget, too. He can move that puck. Of course, you'd want a sixth attacker out there.
May not be bad to at least move him up there by that blue line where he could get a puck if the Capitals cleared it and try and start it back up.
What if we had a situation where a tie did neither team any good and either team had to win? Do you think we'd ever see both of them out of there?
Ooh, wouldn't that be something?
A lot of what ifs.
Big face-off here. Dale Hunter's done a great job tonight for the Capitals. Has won about 13 of 19, but Peter Zezel wins it there.
Into the corner goes Pete Peters to play it to Scott Stevens, and it goes over the glass and into the seats.
And Ron Hextall was firmly entrenched in his goal. Even though the Flyers had gained the Capital zone, he was not moving at all.
Al, tonight's our last regular season telecast here on DC 20, and I know you'll want to join me in thanking a lot of people who have helped us out this year. Lou Stredler, the entire marketing staff of the Washington Capitals, Lou Corletto, and all the good folks in public relations who do such a great job in helping us prepare for games. Aggie Ballard and the accounting staff that keep track of all those bills we ring up on the road. Stan Wong and Doug Shear, the Capitals trainers, who help us out a lot, both at home and on the road. Everybody at WDCA. Pat Young, Jocelyn and Linda Dimensions Travel do such a great job in moving us around the country. I'd also like to say thanks to Butch Porter, Sterling Davis, and my buddy Ski, and everybody at Ted Britt Mazda who provide me with transportation during the hockey season.
Well, that in itself is a job to get you around. Another key face-off, Zezel and Hunter.
From the draw, slap shot blocked. Greg Adams clears it out of the zone. Christian throws it back inside the Flyer end. Here's Crossman to the corner. Craven jams up with Greg Adams. Adams walks away with a puck, takes it behind, centers it. Hunter a shot on the doorstep. It's covered. And finally the whistle blows just as the puck comes free. Lots of pressure on the Philadelphia goal, and all the Flyers were in that pile-up.
And all on top of Dale Hunter. Greg Adams made a nice play, came out of that corner with the puck, walked in front, bought some time until he had help, and got it up to where Dale Hunter could take a poke at it. Now watch Hunter come up with it. He holds it, and then puts the little backhander in front. Now that Dale Hunter has gotten into the picture. And watch, 4 different Philadelphia Flyers down on their hands and knees, covering up both Hunter and trying to get that puck, which squirts free just as Don Koharski blows the whistle. But on that last face-off, even though the Flyers won it, Ron Hextall was still in goal. You would have thought that at that point, Mike Keenan may have made the move, but it looks like he's going to keep him in there right to the bitter end. And here, Mike Ridley now will take the face-off against Ron Sutter.
Ridley sends the draw over to Scott Stevens. He puts it in the corner. Samuelson taken out by Ridley. The puck comes up the sideboards to Sutter, and he sends it out of the zone. Here's Gartner trying to check. A breakaway. Mark Howe. He's in alone. He fakes. Peters stopped him. Great play and goal by Pete Peters, who stops Mark Howe on a clear-cut breakaway. Here's Samuelson. Up to Prop. Taken out at center ice by Scott Stevens. What a heart-stopping play by Peters. Wrist shot blocked by Hatcher. Hatcher tries to clear it out of the zone. He can't do it. It's kept in by Prop. He fires, and Stevens blocks that. At the point, Mark Howe floats it toward the net. Stevens plays it to the corner. Capitals want to get a line change in here. Down to 34 seconds to go in the third period. And finally, the puck is covered along the sideboards, and play is called.
A terrible misplay by the Capitals defenseman. At this point in the game, you don't gamble. Mike Gartner, the only man back. Howe swung around him. Now watch Peters. He doesn't move until Howe starts to move. And I guess Howe doesn't even get it on net when you see it there. But he didn't have any room to put it on net. As Pete Peters made a terrific job. But you see, Kevin Hatcher just should have stayed back. Mike Gartner then caught betwixt and between. But watch Peters stand with Howe. He waits. Now Howe has made the move. Thinks he's got Peters on that short side. And probably had it for just a second. Now we've got a timeout, I think, by Philadelphia. 32 seconds left to go. The face-off will be just on top of that left face-off circle, not down in the dot, on the top of the face-off circle, so the Flyers will not have that full room to work there at the point. Awful tough to keep it in if the Capitals will able to neutralize or to gain control. Let's check in downstairs with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Al. We checked that out-of-town scoreboard for you. The Rangers now up 2-0 over the Quebec Nordiques.